to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now, live from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you. And now, one of our favorite panelists, who tomorrow night opens at the Latin Casino in Merchantville and then wings to the Sands in Las Vegas, Mr. Joey Bishop.
In view of the fact that... Oh, thank you, Arlene.
Oh, it's nothing.
I felt the same way. In view of the fact that this is Mother's Day, my wife said to me that as long as I couldn't spend Mother's Day with her, it was positively all right if I spent it with our next panelist, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
I'll try to take good care of you, for your wife's sake. And now our next panelist, who has just come from Canada, where he's been telling all the Canadians all about Random House Publishing. And here he is now, Bennett Cerf.
I thought you might be interested in a very peculiar fellow who tried to get on our show this week. He told director Franklin Heller that his profession was, he was the inventor of a machine to exterminate termites. And Mr. Heller said, is it on the market? And he said, oh, no. He said, we haven't gotten the bugs out of it yet. Well, here is our radiant and recherche panel moderator, John Charles Davis.
One has to be happy about small and beneficial acts of good friends like Bennett. At least he didn't blame that one on me. That was very nice. Joey, it's nice to have you with us again on the panel.
Thank you, John. It's nice being back.
Hope you have fun tonight. We've got some, I think, very interesting occupations for you all to toy with. You'll also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program. And we'll meet our first challenger. Contestant, will you enter and sign in, please? Stephen Schlossman, right, sir? Where are you from, Mr. Schlossman?
New York City.
From New York City. Fine. Well, then, a whole flock of neighbors there. They do a lot of traveling, but basically they're neighbors. Mr. Schlossman, panel, will you join me over here? What's going on here?
John. Well, I may only further embarrass you, but when you got up from your chair, one of your pants legs was above your knee.
Usually this happens when I have my Western boots on. I don't even have that excuse tonight. Thanks very much, though, Joey. He's all right now? Can you see him?
No, it's fine.
No,
I think that's what produced laughter in the audience, however.
I think you're right. Well, I'll nail it down for the next trip. You know how we keep score, Mr. Schlossman?
Yes, I do.
All right, then let's let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. Schlossman is self-employed and deals in a product. And let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mr. Schlossman, is it a useful product?
Yes, it is.
Is it a product that's used by both sexes?
It is.
Is it a product that is ever seen on the person?
You mean as a decorative element or...
No, I just meant is it possible that a person might have this on them in some way?
I have a little problem here. Wait just a minute. Well, we want to, we want to give you every single benefit we can. I would say there are circumstances under which it is my understanding that you might see the product on a person. Yes.
Is this product edible?
Yes.
It therefore, when it's put to its best use, it is in the mouth.
Well, sometimes, yes.
Is it in any way a sticky food?
No, I wouldn't think so. I'd take you off a sticky wicket and say no. Thank you. There's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Are we assuming that it is a food?
No.
No, it just if it was edible, by which we mean can it be consumed by some form of human life? We said yes to that, right?
Right.
Would it require a person being very hungry before they would decide to eat this?
No, I wouldn't think so. I have to give you a no on that, Joey. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
John, when you say edible by some form of human life...
That it can be consumed by, yes.
Is it unlikely that any of us would serve this at dinner, if we were having a dinner party?
No, I wouldn't say it was unlikely at all.
Really?
No, you might very well do it. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Schlossman, has this product of yours ever been alive?
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis. You'll get the bugs out of this after a while, Bennett. It'll all work much better.
Is it a product that grows?
No. Right.
5 down and 5 to go, Joey.
Is it a product that you chew but don't swallow?
No. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
It doesn't grow, and it's never been alive. And I'd serve it at dinner. Is it a manufactured product?
Well, I would say here,
yes.
if I may, with your permission, that in the particular form in which Mr. Schlossman would be interested to it, it can be described in very general terms as being manufactured, but this does not necessarily indicate that the basic element itself is manufactured.
I see. Is this something that would be drunk rather than eaten?
Well,
In a manner of speaking.
in a manner of speaking.
In a manner of speaking.
Does temperature have anything to do with this?
There's a
Yes.
relationship.
Is this cold rather than warm?
Yes,
Do you have anything to do with ice?
I do.
Are you an iceman, cometh?
I'm not O'Neill, I know that. That's for sure.
You have something to do with ice.
Right.
Well, do you have one of those companies that makes the machines that ice cubes come in?
Well, Dorothy, that is because I want to throw them all over. I think you had it. Actually, what Mr. Schlossman has is the machine, and he makes ice and
Vend ice.
vend ice.
Right,
Yeah,
vend ice.
it's vend ice. It's called Vend Mart Incorporated, your
Right,
company.
that's right.
And I give you a statistic that'll fascinate you. Mr. Schlossman tells me that on an average week in New York, his company alone sells 217,000 ice cubes
I can believe it.
in the middle of winter. Well, I think we need... Yeah.
In the middle of winter, how much is it in the summer? Does it go up? It goes up tremendously in the summer, doesn't it?
Yes.
Astronomical.
Astronomically in the summer, because they use so many to keep the face cool and the upper part of the head and that sort of thing. That's what we had in mind. Thank you, sir. I hope you enjoyed your visit. It was nice to have you on. Now another contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Maxine Riga, is that right? We will now have inspection. Number 5. Is it Miss or Mrs. Riga?
It's Mrs. Riga.
And where are you from?
From Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia. It's very nice to have you with us. Mrs. Riga, may I present our panel? Now, would you join me over here, please? Do you know how we keep score, Mrs. Riga?
Certainly do.
Fine, then we'll let the audience know exactly what your line is. panel, we can tell you that Mrs. Rieger is self-employed and deals in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Mrs. Rieger, there's a big branch of the U.S. Navy down at Norfolk, I believe.
That's correct.
Is your service in any way connected with the United States Navy?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do people come to you for your service, Mrs. Rieger?
Occasionally.
You could go to them.
Yes.
Is there anything entertaining about your service?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Is it a service that would be more verbal than physical?
Yes.
Is it in the form of advice?
No.
No, I don't think we could say it's informed advice, Joe. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. Rieger, do you usually work indoors? Yes. Do you use any instruments or tools in your work? Yes. Are they something a little more unusual for a lady than a pen or pencil? Yes. Typewriter? Mm-hmm. Would you say that there are more men employed doing what you do than women? Yes. Do you do something around the house? No.
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Rieger, do you come into physical contact with the people whom you are serving?
Yes.
Do you serve both sexes?
Yes.
When you come into physical contact with them, are the people usually in one special kind of position?
Just a minute. Let's have a small conference.
Meaning possibly horizontal rather than vertical.
Bennett, I'm not quite sure, what avenue you're seeking to walk here, but what I would say to you is this, that a particular position is to be considered the only reasonable one to be used by any individual who is involved in the service that
Thank you, John.
is being conveyed by Mrs.
For being
Rieger.
very clear. Would that position, Mrs. Rieger, be either sitting down or lying down?
Either sitting down or lying down.
Yes.
Do you touch these people usually, and more often, I would say, above the waist than below the waist?
Yes.
Above the neck?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, but nice going, Bennett. Miss Francis.
All right, we have them between the neck and the waist now. And lots of luck to us. Do you touch their hands?
Yes.
Do you do anything to change the appearance of the person? Do you improve them in any way?
No. Well, on that basis, we would have to give you a no. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Bishop.
Would the, earlier when Dorothy asked you, the word instruments, before she had finished her question, you had started the answer to the word instruments. Are there instruments connected with your work?
Yes.
Are they, do you consider manicure surgical?
No, but that would improve the appearance, so that's...
Yes.
Would you like to have a conference?
Pardon me?
You want a conference?
No. If I wanted a conference, John, I would ask for one.
Well, of course, I know. I just wanted to offer it in case you did, that's all.
The word instruments, may I assume the word instruments included with it the word musical instruments?
No.
That's fine, Joey. That's 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are these instruments made of metal? Yes. Do they have anything to do with the wrists? The wrist? Yes. No.
That makes it 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Then are the instruments, Mrs. Rieger, applied to the hands?
Yes.
Would these instruments ever be used by people in courts of justice or in prisons?
Yes.
Are they often used in that method?
Yes.
In that way? Is that their principal use?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with fingerprints?
No.
No. No, Bennett. 9 down and 1 to go.
I know.
You want 25 seconds for a conference?
Dorothy thinks she knows. What is it?
A polygraph instrument, lie detector. Is that it?
Right. Actually, Mrs. Rieger operates a polygraph or lie detector. Does not do it for legal authority or police authority, but does it for a commercial operation working with corporations and so forth. And one thing I found out, because you learn something new on this program almost every week, you came from the Keeler Polygraph Institute.
Right, in Chicago.
And they require that all of those who enter Keeler to take this kind of work have a degree, so that you start off at a high level of education and then use this and refine it further to use the polygraph.
I've often wondered, Mrs. Rieger, has anybody ever taken one of these lie detector tests and successfully faked it? In other words,
faked it?
yes.
No, sir.
You've always detected a liar
That's correct. The only way you can beat the machine is with a stick.
with a stick?
Well, now, Bennett has run into his match. What Mrs. Rieger said is the only way you can beat the machine is with a stick. Now, that's better than having bugs in your machine, isn't it?
But, wait a minute, John. We've been accused on this program of letting things hang in midair sometimes. Now, what do you mean by beating the machine with a stick? How can you beat the machine with a stick?
Well, you can take a stick and beat the machine, actually beat it. But as far as beating it...
Wow.
As far as beating it with a polygraph exam.
I thought that this surprised me because I thought that some criminologists thought that certain people with a certain psychological tendency could inadvertently or advertently beat the machine.
You mean
they were not good subjects, in other words, for the lie detector machine?
Well, the well-trained polygraph examiner is able to detect the pathological liar.
I see.
And the guilt complex reactor.
Or somebody who was just so stupid that his reactions were insane.
Yes.
This is not to suggest that anybody connected with this program is a pathological liar. That is all I have to say. Thank you very much. We had a wonderful visit with you. Hope you enjoyed hearing about it. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. Our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you all know, the panel is always blindfolded. Blindfolds in place, panel?
Yes, John.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? As you will remember, panel, with our mystery challenger, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. And let's begin with Joey Bishop.
All I know is that there was one gentleman in the audience. If he'd have been a little more excited, we all would have known who it was. Is the fact that today's Mother's Day a special reason for you being here?
Dear boy, one of my life ambitions, but unfortunately no.
That's one down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a comedian? Professionally, I mean?
Yes.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you ever done your act in a nightclub or a hotel room? Hotel public room, I mean.
Recently.
Miss Francis?
Do you appear on television?
I expect you this evening.
And has previously. Mr. Bishop?
Did you say and has previously?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your own television show?
Not to my knowledge at present.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Does the word horizontal mean anything special to you just now?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
I have a desire to be asleep.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you appeared within the past 2 or 3 years on the Broadway stage?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Have you ever appeared on a panel?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Have you ever appeared as a panel on this particular show?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you Ray Bolger?
Yes.
How does never to go?
Oh, I was so used to saying yes.
Have you been a panelist on this show this current season? I don't hear any answer.
Maybe he's left.
Yes.
Are you now and again a very funny Chinaman?
That's right.
Buddy Hackett.
Yeah.
Buddy Hackett. I'll tell you. Do you know that today at 4 o'clock he asked me would I drive him to the airport? He had to be in Chicago. This is wonderful.
What was the tournament you all played?
Well, Joey and I won a tournament at the Englewood Country Club today, and Joe said, let's celebrate. I said, Joe, drive me to the airport. He said, I can't. I'm working tonight. I said, what time are you working? He said, I got to be there about 9:30. I said, you got plenty of time to take me to the airport. I would take you. He said, Bud, don't. I just won a tournament. I want to have a couple of drinks with the fellas.
He went through this whole thing. Now, may I just explain this? It'll only take a moment.
Yeah, please, Joey.
Yesterday, Buddy Hackett and I, as a member at Englewood Country Club, tied for first place. So I called him this morning. I said, Buddy, we have a tie. We've got to play it off. He says, I can't. I have to go to Chicago. I said, but Buddy, we have to. So he says, all right, I'll play it off if you promise to take me to the airport. But it took us so long to play. Now, Buddy, I'll never talk to you again. As long as I live.
Oh, dear, that's wonderful.
I nearly blew it when I wanted to call you tonight and say if you want to drive in together, but then I didn't think that.
Oh, Joey, that was loads of fun. I can see Joey in Chicago and figuring out where we're going from here. We played this one beautifully. Buddy,
It was
thank
a
you.
wonderful impersonation, Buddy. Nobody's complimented you on your artistry.
It was
You were
great.
marvelous.
Beautifully done.
You sounded as elegant as Mike Romanoff.
Oh, yes.
Well, Buddy, thanks very much.
Thank you very much,
Glad you
Mr.
didn't go to Chicago, and nice to see you back with us again.
Well, I'm opening it tomorrow night in Palmer House.
I will make sense. Well, we'll be back after this word from our alternate sponsor. Again, Joe, it's great fun to have you back with us. Hope we see you real soon, and good luck on your travels.
Thank you, John.
Good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Good night. Keep away from the gaming tables, Joey. Good
I
luck.
shall. Oh, I don't gamble. Good night. I don't. Good night,
Good night.
Dorothy.
Good night, Bennett.
Good night, John.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?